Well, hi, everybody, and welcome into another Solid Orange conversation dedicated to Prisma Health and all the brave health professionals that are out there. Don Munson and men's tennis coach um, Robbie Weiss along with you. Robbie, first and foremost, how you doing through all of this? Everything good and dandy there at your household?
It's going well. Luckily, I have a new house here that I'm sharing with my wife and my stepdaughters, and we have a very nice place. So we're hunkering down, but I'm hoping this can end soon. I think everyone's excited to get back to work, and just wishing everybody with the Clemson family and all the extended families here that everyone's safe and healthy.
Well, I think that is going along that way. My guess is though, Robbie, because of the way that you're a little different than most head coaches as far as recruiting is concerned, and that you do a lot of obviously overseas recruiting and bringing some kids into Clemson that come from international backgrounds. So something tells me you were probably already a little tech savvy on how to do some of this stuff. Is that assumption correct on my part?
It's somewhat correct. Zoom is new to me. I mean, we do a lot of FaceTiming through WhatsApp, but not through Zoom. I do like this application. It is nice. Obviously, there's been Skype, but just a lot of phone calls mostly and text messaging. But I starting to really utilize the Zoom and the Skype, and it's been really good for recruiting. This time has given me the opportunity to connect a little bit better with some of these recruits and my existing team that I have, and it's been really helpful.
Well, and I guess let's talk from an international flavor that you have on your squad. What's the adjustments that those kids have had to make? Because I mean, I'm gonna guess most of them are still here in the United States, or did some go home? What happened?
We have a few of them still here. Some of them were planning on staying for summer school, so they're still here. We have a few that did go back. We have one player from China who's here. We have one player from Switzerland who's still here, and one from Greece that decided to stay. But we also have another Swiss player that went home and a Romanian player that went home. So we have a little bit of a mix. I think that some of them felt safer here. Some wanted to be back at home. There's issues staying here, and there's also issues being away, with this online learning and the time adjustment, the time change. So I think they're adjusting very well at this point, and everyone's safe and healthy. And that's really the biggest concern for myself, that everyone's just, healthy at this point.
Well, you obviously you worry about that aspect, but then also I'm sure as a head coach you worry also about the academic side of things. But the beauty of all the computer technology is all the online stuff that can be done. And your group was let's be honest with it, was a pretty good group of students anyhow.
Yeah, I was fortunate to inherit a really good group of guys that take their academics seriously, and last fall we were had the highest GPA of any men's sports program at Clemson. So really proud of that, and I think that they're on pace to do really well this semester. I think they're all adjusting fine and doing well with this online learning. I think they're taking it seriously. They understand the importance of it. We stress that to them on a weekly basis, how important it is to keep up their academics and to not let up and to keep pushing forward and to keep working hard. I mean, we stress every day on court with our tennis, but we also stress that with their academics and everything that they do in their life, to do to the best of their abilities, and to incorporate that throughout their entire lives. So I think they're doing a really, really good job at this point.
Well, obviously you went through the indoor season and you were just getting cranked up for the outdoor season. So if you can, let's go back and just recap a little bit and some of the highlights that you saw from your club this year.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this season, was really unsure of the level, not sure how they were going to perform. I was just basically going off of last year's results and talking to the guys prior to the start of the season and trying to get a feel for them. I really was unsure of how they would sort of buy into the new system and the hard work and the dedication and the focus that I preach to them every single day. And to my surprise, they all bought in incredibly well. Their work ethic, their focus, their determination was fantastic. I couldn't have been more proud of these guys. I think that we had a very good start to the season. We had a really tough loss early on to Auburn, who's a good team in the SEC. Had some match points in doubles. I think we almost even had some match points in singles to clinch the match. We ended up losing 4-3. Came down to the last match into a tiebreaker. That was a tough loss, but we also had a very good win against Princeton, who is 23 in the country, which was really great for us. We had another really good win against Georgia State that same weekend. We were down 4-love in the third set in the deciding match to Georgia State. We were down 4-1 in the deciding match to Princeton. So it was a really good weekend for us. Through those two very good wins, we were able to get up to number 40 in the country, which I believe is the highest ranking we've had in maybe 5 or 6 years at Clemson. Something I'm proud of, coming in here in my first year and working with these guys. So I think I couldn't be happier with the way the season was going and the way we were trending and where we were headed. We had a lot of tough matches ahead going into the ACC. The ACC is incredibly difficult in men's tennis and have several teams that are ranked in the top 5. So we were going up against it. But from the start of the season, I couldn't be more proud of how the guys responded, how they came together. And Louis, our player from China, who was playing number 2 at the time, had season-ending surgery early on in January, so we lost him, and we're still able to achieve a 40 ranking without him, basically. So we're really proud of that.
All right, so you maybe give us a sense of where you see this going now. I mean, you go through, you see the development of players. Obviously, there'll be some recruiting that will be going. So where is the next step for Clemson men's tennis?
We have 4 players coming in next year. That Matt, my assistant, and I, we've been recruiting very hard since the day we arrived here at Clemson in June. And we were able to solidify 4 very good players for next year. So we have a player from Romania who's going to be starting in January of 21. He had a career high ranking of, I think, 46 in the world in juniors. We have a player from Japan who's coming in the fall, who had a career high ranking of 65 in the world. And then we also have 2 American players. One is a blue chip player, one is a 5-star player. Both from Florida, who actually trained down in Florida, both really good players. So I think the addition of those 4 players is going to really help. I think we're going to be able to make a big jump as a program. We still have a couple players coming back that are going to be really instrumental in our success. We have a few players that will no longer be with our team to graduation. But overall, I think the program's going to strengthen considerably starting next year. And we're really excited about the future. The ultimate goal is to, win a national championship here at some point. But I think the first step is to be very competitive in the ACC, which I think we're going to be able to do starting next year. And I think next year being ranked inside the top 20 is something that I think can happen. That's the goal, and I feel confident that it will happen at some point shortly. I don't think it's going to be a long, extended, drawn out issue here with the men's tennis at Clemson, where it's going to take many, many years to get going. I do think it's going to happen fairly fast. I mean, that's I only know one way, and that's put foot to the pedal and to go as hard as I can, as fast as I can, and want to have success as soon as possible. But doing it the right way, obviously, and to develop these players that will be coming in. I do think it may be a 1 or 2 year process, but I think they're all very, very good tennis players, and they're going to improve quickly. And I do see the program building in a really positive manner fairly fast.
For those that have not familiar with the tennis facility at Clemson, they may not be aware of the upgrade that has happened to the facility here really over the last 24 months. Was when construction started, and now that you all are using this fully. What has that meant for you, and the commitment of the folks that that have come along, both men's and women's tennis, to make this possible?
It's been tremendous. I mean, I can't thank the Duckworth family enough, and everyone else who's been involved with the fundraising and the construction of the facility. I know it was a labor of love. I know it took many, many years for this to get off the ground, but it's truly remarkable, and I feel blessed that I was able to come in right at the perfect time when the facility was built. It's one of the best in the country. It is fantastic. Every recruit that comes by and sees it are blown away. I think other teams that come by, you see other teams that are in, they're taking pictures of the facility. All the other coaching staffs come to me and just say, wow, I didn't know it was this beautiful. So it is a fantastic facility, and it definitely helps from a recruiting standpoint. I think ultimately, athletes look at the team, they look at the conference, they look at the coaching staff, they look at the academics, they look at pretty much everything. They're really these student athletes are really smart that are coming in, and I think they look at a lot of different factors. It's not like they're just looking at the facilities, but it does play a big role in our recruiting, and I couldn't be happier, more blessed to have a facility like we do at Clemson. And for those of you who have not been out to the tennis facility, I would highly recommend coming out when this virus blows over and we're able to start back up in the fall, hopefully, and in the spring. I would say come out and watch a match. I think you'd be really impressed, and not only with the facility, but also of our programs, the men's and women's teams, of how hard we work and the way we compete and go about things the right way. I think you'd be really impressed and have a good time watching some of our matches.
You mentioned already the victory over number 23 Princeton that your team had this year, and the goal of being in the top 20. How does that stepping stone right there, and your guys seeing that hey, we can compete on this level, how does that go in helping out and building what you're trying to build?
Well, I think it was important. That was a big match for us. I think that just they understand that they can beat a quality team, that it's possible. And I think in men's tennis and college especially, it's more about who competes the best and who really believes and works the hardest out there. And there's a lot of ebbs and flows in college tennis, and there's a lot of different momentum shifts. And I think that once they understand and they can feel the momentum shifts throughout the match, and they know when to seize opportunities, it's which teams that are able to do that the best are the ones that are successful. And I think that win over Princeton was a really good stepping stone for us. So the existing players, they felt the joy of what it's like to beat a high quality team. I mean, it was such an amazing feeling for all of us. And as a coaching staff, I mean, that's why I do what I do, is because I love coaching. I love helping these players. I want to see them enjoy those moments. And then I told them, I said, there's going to be many more of those type moments here at Clemson. If you just put in the hard work, and this is going to happen a lot more. And I think that they see that, they felt it, and it felt amazing to them. And it was such an incredible moment for us, and such a great weekend, even with the Georgia State win coming back. That's why we all put in the hard work every day as a coaching staff, and that's why they put in the hard work as student athletes, because they want that feeling. And I think that I think that looking at the rankings can be a blessing and a curse, but I think that I want them to be aware of the rankings, because I want them pushing for more, and to all be striving for that top 10. And I think that they just have to know that it is possible if they put in the right work, and they're dedicated to the things that we're teaching them every day, and they have been doing it. And so I think that we were definitely on the right track. We were definitely heading there.
I think that also maybe one of the things we needed to, for folks that are watching this that don't know a little bit about you, is to understand what your background is. You win the NCAAs in 1988 as a singles champion. You were the ITA Player of the Year. You go on a professional career. You beat 3 number 1 ranked players doing that. So the pedigree is there. I mean, to me, that's part of your selling point. That's part of you being able to go to talk with some young man and their family and say, hey, I've been there, I've done this, I know how to get it done.
It's absolutely a selling point. I have to sell my strengths, and that is clearly one of my strengths is my playing background. I would like to think that my coaching abilities sort of supersede that, but the players don't know my coaching abilities until they are here and they commit to being a part of the Clemson program and they see it. But I think that that's definitely something that I sell, my playing background for sure. I was fortunate enough to have won the NCAA's my senior year. I started off my freshman year playing number 6. Never dreamed of winning the national championship when I was a freshman. I was just trying to stay in my lineup at Pepperdine, which was a very tough team. We were ranked top 5 in the country, and I was just battling to stay in the lineup. But I got going my sophomore year and finished the year 9th in the country individually in singles. The team, we were ranked number 1 in the country as a team throughout the year. We won the indoor nationals and went into the NCAA's ranked 1, and we ended up losing in the finals to Stanford. But then going on the tour, I had a good career. I was plagued by a lot of different injuries throughout my 8 years on the tour, so I didn't get to play as much as I had liked. But I've been there. I played against all the best players in the world. I was able to beat Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg, Ivan Lendl, Patrick Rafter. I mean, these are all players that were number 1 in the world. So I do know what it takes to not only become a very good college player, but to compete at the highest level on the ATP tour. And so I do stress that I've been there. I've played against the best players. I know what the ball's supposed to feel like. I know what you're supposed to, what type of shots you're supposed to be playing, how you're supposed to handle yourself, the mental focus that you're supposed to have to be successful, the discipline that you need every single day, that there's no shortcuts. It's a long, tough journey to get to where I went, but I didn't know any better. I just knew one way. And that's sort of what I'm trying to instill in my players is that there's only one way, that there's no choice involved about coming to work, oh, I'll work hard these 3 days. Oh, I'm tired, I'm not going to work today. That you only know one way. And it's tough. It's very tough mentally to come to work every single day and give 100% when you're maybe not feeling well, and you're not in the mood to be playing. And I think that that's something that the guys this year did a great job. I mean, we had our moments just like every team does. And individually, some guys had their days, but I let them know that that's okay. And that's part of the process. You're going to have days where it's going to be tough and you're not going to be at full speed, but let's have 95, 98% of every single day where you're going max out, and you're going to start seeing some improvements. And I think that the players that we're recruiting are all in. I mean, they want to be pushed hard. I would not be bringing them on board if they did not want to be pushed hard, and they understand what the program that they're coming into, that they want to be great, and they know that to do that, they're going to have to really give it their best every single day. And there's definitely no shortcuts to becoming very successful, as in any walk of life. And I think that there's a lot of life lessons they can learn here at Clemson, just being a part of this program.
One of the things I've been doing, Robbie, is I've been talking with head coaches and doing these conversations, is asking just a little bit about personally about what you're doing. So, what do we need to know about Robbie Weiss? Is Robbie Weiss a musician? Are you are you a cook? Are you a painter? Or are you a poet? Give us a little bit of something we don't know about.
Just in the last, I would say 4 years, when I got back into college coaching, and I went back to Alabama, the passion was burning so bright inside of me to be successful as a college coach. I've really just gone at 100% the last 4 years. I really, my interest levels and everything else have sort of dissipated. I used to be a big golfer. I used to play a lot of golf. I haven't picked up a club in 4 years, not even touched a club. It's just spending some time with my family. Now that I've had this opportunity, it's been great. I became a vegan Christmas Day just by chance. Watched a couple different documentaries. I decided to just give it a go. I'm all in on the vegan side. And been cooking vegan meals with my wife every night. We get 3 meals delivered to our door through these deliveries. So I'm finding that I actually really enjoy cooking. My wife is just leaving it to me now, basically, to cook. She's my sous chef. She cuts everything up, but I'm the one cooking. So I've actually really enjoyed cooking. We live on the lake, so I enjoy, you know, being out on the lake and just spending time with my dogs and my stepdaughters and my wife. But I've been really boring, to be quite honest. I've been so entrenched in the coaching side of things. My wife would say it as well. It's good and bad, but I have such a clear vision of where this program is going, and I'm so hungry to be successful, and to help these student athletes become the best they can be, and to have the best 4 years, and to have these lifelong relationships with these guys. I eat, sleep, and breathe it, and I love it. I mean, I wake up every day, and I just can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. I mean, really, it's so much fun. So I don't have a lot of outside interest at the moment, but like I said, I was a big golfer for sure. I enjoyed watching tennis on TV and golf on TV and so forth, but I don't even really watch much TV anymore. I'm recruiting at night. My wife is like, "Can you please put your phone down, please?" So I'm working on that. I just actually started working on that 2 days ago. My wife is like, "Can you please put your phone down, maybe at night?" So I said, "Okay, from dinner time to bedtime, phone's out." So I just started that. So it's tough, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I got that last night from my wife, as a matter of fact. So I understand where you're coming from. Lastly, just as you have settled in Clemson, you know, obviously at Clemson we have this big thing we call Clemson family, and it is true. I mean, if people don't, I think that people don't realize just how true it is. But as you have settled in, what is it that you have found out about Clemson that you feel, hey, really makes this place special?
Well, I think it's a small town. You know, Clemson's a small college town, so you do run into people. I see them at the grocery store. I don't see them anymore because I don't go out of my house. But I do see people at the grocery store. I ran into Natalie, who's one of our social athletic directors, walking in our neighborhood. I just get the sense that everyone feels really connected because of the small town here at Clemson, and I think everyone loves Clemson so much that we all feel connected by that same bond. And everyone's just so you know, warm and nice and welcoming to my wife and I, and it's been a great transition for us. I mean, you know, we live out on the lake, so we're a little bit more isolated, and it's been a little bit tougher transition for my wife. But you know, I come to work every day. I'm extremely busy. I have meetings every day, so I'm connected. I think been a little bit tougher for my wife, but she's starting to work on transitioning, getting out, meeting some people. We're going to start going to church on Sunday. We're going to start trying to integrate her, maybe join a tennis club when this all blows over, so she can get on a ladies team and start playing a little bit more. But it's a very, very special place. We absolutely love it here. This is a place that hopefully I can retire here. You know, barring anything that doesn't happen here, I want to end my career at Clemson. I love it. We enjoy it here very, very much.
I love hearing that. I absolutely love hearing that. All right. So there is our Solid Orange conversation dedicated to Prisma Health and all the brave healthcare professionals that are out there. Robbie, we appreciate your time and all the best to you and your family.
Thank you so much, John. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.